How can you even choose? There's just so many options. This is crazy. I want it all.
Well, let's go in and see what they have. Uzi! Crumble pie. That looks good.
What's this, a croissant?
Kuruki? It's a croissant cookie. 처음 봤어요. First time I saw that.
I don't want this and then that cafe mocha.
I like this chain. It's kind of a newer chain. It's kind of like a bit more like
Upscale.
Well, it's like more modern looking. How long have you been here? 2 weeks? 3
Over 3.
Really?
Over 3, yeah.
The time's going so fast.
I know. What's today? Thursday? So less than 2 weeks.
No, you're extending by 6 months.
Yeah.
Dad will love that.
Dad won't love that.
Sorry, Dad. I'm keeping her. She's mine now. Now I know you have to go, but it's tough.
Yeah.
But you're gonna need a break from those kids running you ragged.
They don't run me ragged. It's a mental challenge. I'm just somebody that random person is coming in
No,
and
not
saying.
random at all.
But I am,
They,
really.
No, it's not random. It's just like they don't know you well, but you're not random. They know exactly who you are, and they know like that you're part of our family.
I asked Isla the one day we were walking. I said, "So Isla, how old do you think I am?" And she went, 80? And I went, no. Because there was a few days where I was like, Mom, do this, Mom, do that, Mom, I want you to do this, I want you to do that. And I'm like, babe, you gotta understand, I'm exhausted.
Is there anything you haven't done yet that you want to try?
I was looking at those scooters that are lined up. I thought that would be kind of a fun thing to do one afternoon. Today and tomorrow is still supposed to be sunny, so it'll be a lot of fun to do it when it's sunny out.
What if you crash?
Well, that
I'm
will be a
scared.
problem, but I don't think you will.
When you first start riding them, the first time you go, it's like, ah.
Yeah.
So you just have to be careful.
Yeah.
What's it called? A cookie.
It looks like a chocolate chip cookie
melted.
onto a croissant.
Oh, this looks like everything you could ever need.
Nice and foamy.
Oh. You do need the knife, I guess.
It's chewy.
That's good. It's hard to eat, but my God, it's good. Do you think you'd be able to live in Korea? I mean, like, later in life?
Later in life, no. While I'm still active, I think. But my concern is that I'm not very good at the conversation.
The language is
Language is hard, yeah.
Like, just the society in general would be fine, but the language makes
Right.
you nervous?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah. You figure it out.
Like I look at all the restaurants and go like, oh, I'm wondering if I'd like that or.
Yeah, you just try. You just try. That's the thing about living in a foreign country that I've noticed. A lot of the time you're flying by the seat of your pants. You just try stuff. And then if something's not good, then you don't do it again. If something tastes bad, you don't eat it again.
True.
When did you first hear about Korea? It would have been probably like quite a long time ago. Like, was it during the Korean War?
I think the first time I heard about Korea was on MASH.
Really?
Yeah, because that was a popular TV show.
Was it stationed in Korea?
Yeah. It was about the Korean War, and yeah.
But that was like comedy.
No,
Kind of,
there was an underlying seriousness, political.
So it was like a comedic drama, or was it just a drama?
It was a lighthearted drama.
Was it a sitcom then?
No,
Not a sitcom.
No, not
a lighthearted drama.
a lighthearted drama.
But about a pretty serious
Yes, with a
Yeah.
serious background. Yeah.
Well, because
yeah.
it was during the Korean
Yeah.
War, which was very serious.
Yeah.
I feel like this country's been through so much. Like such a tiny land, but like
Well,
the
that's why.
history is so
Yeah.
incredibly interesting and like so sad. But then also like the thing I really love about Korea is the end of everything. It's always like a Korean's like strength
Yes.
to power through and persevere through these horrible
Yes.
things that it's gone through.
And the fact is that they haven't lost who they are.
They always maintain like this beautiful tradition and like having like Korean soul fun. For me, because of my life path, I've gone through like I have a lot of wins, but I also have been through a lot of big struggles. Like some of the biggest things someone can go through, I've had to go through.
Yeah.
And so I've not different than anybody else. Everybody has their
Well,
struggles.
everybody has personal struggles. Yeah.
But I really feel like maybe that's one of the reasons why I feel so like touched and connected with this country is because I see a little bit like me on a very small
Well, there's a
scale
hope.
to connect. Yeah.
There's the element of hope. So,
Yeah. Because I'm a very hopeful person too, and I have a lot of like
so you're
positivity.
looking for hope.
Yeah, and I just naturally have a lot of it because I always forget to be sad.
Well,
No, I that's a joke, but I'm very funny. That guy even never eats. Just kidding. But anyways, I think for me that's one of the reasons why I feel so connected is I just see like a similarity in the perseverance thing
Yeah.
because I'm someone who perseveres through.
yeah. So you pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and you proceed to something. Like you're always thinking about, what if I try this? Where will this go? And you've learned to self-edit too.
Yeah.
So
But I think that's why, like, when I look at Korea going through such horrible things, but then still being so full of so much joy, it's so attractive to me because that's my same way of being. It's like, yeah, I go through these hard things, everybody does, but I still want to focus so much on joy and like
yeah.
joy hunting, joy farming. That's why we're
Well,
here.
life's too short to be sad.
But this is why we're here.
Yeah.
We're here for abundance, and it's everywhere.
Well, I'm not sure if that's why we're here, but the thing is that we are here, so we have to make the best of it and stay joyful.
Yeah. It's like I don't wanna get like stuck in like, oh, I went through this bad thing, so now I'm a victim forever. No, like I went through this bad stuff. I want to show other people like, look, if you choose joy,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's it. Like it's so easy to be happy. You just choose it. It's right there.
Yeah.
It's right there. You can choose being miserable and shitty, or you can choose the joy that is sitting right there.
Yeah. Well, it's about making choices, and
Yes.
and you're the one that controls the choices.
Exactly. It's so simple. Like you can choose the smallest thing that can totally turn your day around if you let it. I've talked to people that have like really, really bad stuff going on, and I'm like, but you still can find joy. It's tiny,
Yeah.
but it's there. Your eyes work, your mouth works.
Well, I think people don't always know they have permission to
Yeah, maybe.
try something different.
I recently saw something where someone was talking about, it's about choosing positivity or is it about choosing negativity less? And I was like, oh, that's interesting. That's kind of a new one. And they were saying the negative thoughts for modern people have become so ingrained in our subconscious that it's actually for modern people more about choosing those thoughts less. And then giving way for the positive thoughts. But
Yeah.
I mean, for me, I've just been choosing positivity.
Well, you couldn't survive with 3 kids without it,
No.
because the alternative is that you would get so depressed, and then you would make a choice that nobody would want.
Wow. Yeah.
No, that's how depression.
There are
That's depression.
Yes. Right.
lots of things that I'm interested in at my age is I think the 7 things you need to do to avoid dementia and all that sort of thing. But it starts a lot sooner than when you're 65.
Yeah.
It starts way sooner.
Like my age, I think.
Yeah. Well, even before that. But the point is that those children need to explore all those different emotions and all those different options and making an informed decision on their own. And that's because making a decision on your own, that's the best teacher.
That's why I always encourage mistakes.
Yeah.
That was one thing when you were raising us. I never felt scared that I was going to get in so much trouble for making a mistake. I knew the rules. I knew my boundaries.
Right.
When I was a little kid, I was never growing up like, oh God, if I spilled the milk. And that was one thing that I didn't like about what my children were exposed to when they were little. Because kids spill.
Because yelling at them is not going to unspill the milk.
Exactly. And that's why I always was like, nah, this ain't it.
Yeah.
Here's what it is. And my kids know if I make a mistake, it's okay. Because mommy is not going to rake us over the coals. I will tell them if I'm disappointed. And if they make a mistake that they could have avoided because they've already learned it, then I might be angry. I always tell the kids, mistakes are good. Mistakes are how we learn. Don't be afraid to screw up. You're gonna.
Yeah.
So you already know you're gonna make mistakes. So go into the wild and make the mistakes.
Yeah.
Because those mistakes are what are gonna make you strong and are what are gonna make you intelligent and what are gonna make you independent and be able to grow up into a functioning adult.
Yeah.
If you walk around like so terrified to make a mistake, you know what is gonna happen? You become that. Can't do anything by yourself. No self-confidence to go out and try anything and become anything. So you just become nothing.
Yeah.
And that for me is scarier than anything.
Did you say dad?
That.
Oh, okay.
Not dad. Dad's awesome.
Yeah, I go say, so you said dad, I'd be like, cut that out.
Oh no, dad, I think dad is an excellent example of what a man should be.
Not only that is that he loves to play.
Yes, that's why I can be like fun and joyful with the kids too, right? Because dad was like that a lot.
Do you know what time the kids get off school today?
Around 2, but Isla wants to play with her friends. She's 10 now, so she's at the age where she just wants to play out. And I'm like, do it.
I think she needs to do that. Because all they do is they come home and they bicker, or they sneak the TV. I think yesterday they conspired.
For sure they did.
If we go in and say we just want to rest, then we can do whatever heck we want because she won't know.
It's actually kind of funny for me because it makes me think a lot about growing up with Clay. We had our own little like dialogues.
Oh, of course. I wouldn't expect anything less. Your kids are friends for life.
I always tell the kids like, you guys have each other for the rest of your lives. You 3 are going to be the glue that holds each other together when shit goes bad in life. You know, because I'm not going to always be around.
It's just the image of my sister, my brother, and I leaving the hospital when my mom passed that night. And we were walking in front of the hospital, and we were sort of linked arms. And my brother goes, well, we're orphans now. And they get sad.
Hard.
Yeah. But that's what your kids will have. And it's the exact same combination. Like it's the same. You know what? It's a fact of life.
I know it.
But we don't dwell on it because you can't.
I think this is one of the hard things about living away is that like Papa died, Grandma died, and I wasn't there. I couldn't go to the funeral. I mean, it was COVID for Papa.
And my mom too, actually.
And your mom.
Yeah.
But like, it was just like, it's so hard to miss that. But then I also often worry like, because you guys are getting older, you and Dad.
Yeah.
And I'm here, and that's why it's hard because I'm not able to spend time with you guys, and me and Clay don't have time to work on our relationship, you know. So it's just this is the reason why being a foreigner is so hard.
Well, I think you have to look at it as you could have a sibling and you got a friend for life. You're not an only child. You'll always have your brother. But you both are living your own lives the way
And
you
that I think
want
that
to.
is good. I do
Yeah.
think that is good. People often will be like, "Oh, it's so hard to have so many kids, isn't it?" And I'm like, "It's hard, but you know what? For them, like this is so much better because they have each other. And then when I'm gone,
Yeah.
they have each other. They're not going to be alone."
It's a concept of the aloneness, but also that there's someone in the world that you belong.
That's right. But that's why it's hard because I'm like, do I stay or do I go home? You know, it's a really hard decision to make because if I think long term, that it's just tough. I love being here so much, and I love like the way that things run, and the medical system here is superior. There's so many things, but then at the end of the day, it's like a family is kind of one of the more important things, and that's the main reason why I struggle to know what to do.
But I think you're still in such early days of the next chapter.
Yeah,
That's
true.
You were only here in the beginning because of your marriage,
Right.
and now that's gone. So what's keeping you here? Well, what's keeping you here is this is the culture that your kids have been nurtured on.
There's so many things keeping me here.
Yeah.
But there's also like the question of, is this like, am I right to stay or not?
I think that in your heart of hearts, you know that this is where you want to be.
I really don't know. I mean, every time I do think of actually going, I feel sick a little bit.
Yeah, because it's an unknown. Everybody that you had attachment to, they moved on.
I know, exactly.
So you'll be coming in and starting all over again. You're in a new city. You're starting to have acquaintances and stuff like that. You're making attachments and that. Like how much are you going to put yourself through now? I'm not saying send the roots down. I'm just saying at some point...
I want to. I just want to know where the best place to do that is because...
I don't think there's a best place. I think the best place is where you decide it works for you.
I think sometimes my fear about staying here is more like, am I going to be lonely forever? Like, I went to the tarot card reader and she was like, you need to focus on your career right now. She said, you're one like good opportunity away from hitting it big.
Yeah.
I can feel that I'm on the precipice of something humongous. I don't have very high like confidence except for with work.
Yeah.
I'm pretty confident about, I know what I'm capable of.
I know what you're talking about.
Well, and I know I'm willing to take the risk to try stuff to be able to find something that I could potentially be really good at.
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of trying all these things career-wise. And it's starting to sort of go well. Like, I got to try acting, which was something I've wanted to do my whole life. So that was like, and I feel like it went pretty well. So I'm just really so grateful and happy that I can have this platform to try these things I've always wanted to do.
So it's addressing your creativity side and the weather is more suited to you, and it's still at least somewhat affordable to live here. I mean, they do make it work.
여러분, 시청해주셔서 감사합니다. 맘이랑 내 맘이랑 우리 얘기 많이 나눠줬어요. 그래서 감사합니다. Thanks for listening and watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Make sure you hit like and subscribe. See you next time. And next time we're gonna go and we're gonna get Mom to try one of the cake boards. 다음에 봅시다.